Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? I wanted to talk about something that has to do with my last video, which was about kind of a reply to Sledge's video on if this was the worst patch ever. And I said no, I think it's just as bad as basically every other patch that's ever come out for the game. But I wanted to talk about the actual balance because the other video wasn't really about balance. I think a lot of people kind of misinterpreted what I was saying. I didn't say anything really about balance. I just said that I was tired of the way that balance is being treated as a pendulum, as in one update it'll be on Demon's side, and then the next update it'll be Survivor's side, and then it just keeps swinging back and forth based on who's complaining on Reddit or which queue is longer, and I never actually said how I feel personally about the balance in the game currently, so I wanted to get into that. But before I do, I always want to ask you to subscribe because it really helps out my channel in the algorithm and helps other people see it. And it would be super awesome and bitchin' if you click the like button as well. But I will get into talking about my thoughts on balance right now. Balance is a little weird at the moment because in another video of Sledge's where he responded to his own video, and the devs told him that they were balancing the game based on data that they had presently and have still refused to give that data. It's very weird to me because Dead by Daylight has been showing a lot more transparency in how they do things in the past couple of years, and so they'll show a lot of their data all the time. They'll show you what killers are being played most, how often killers are winning, how many groups of 4 there are, how many people are in solo queue. They have all of these demographics, and they don't show them to you all the time, but they do show them to you every now and then. And I'm starting to feel like the Evil Dead devs don't have any of this. And the reason why is because they're so unwilling to show any of it. And I don't know if it's for PR because they don't want us to see that the player base isn't as big as they want it to be, but I can already see that in my own gameplay, personal. I mean, I've run into Alucard like 5 times. There's no demons, there's no survivors. I've run into the same people all the time. And I'm starting to think that the only data they really have is how many people are queuing in survivors and how many people are queuing in demons, and they just completely base their balancing off of, well, nobody's picking demon right now, which means demon must be really underpowered. So we need to nerf the shit out of the survivors, buff the shit out of killers so that more people want to play killer because we're going to make the survivor experience completely abysmal. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope they do actually have a lot of data, but it just seems to me that they're not balancing anything based on any kind of data that they're saying they have. And what frustrates me about the way things were balanced now isn't that I think things are particularly unbalanced. I just think that we got from where we were to where we are far too quickly. Instead of, the thing is that I've seen the devs do back-end server-based changes where they change values like they've done that, twice or once now? So they can do it. And all of the balancing they do is based on value changes, which makes no sense to me. If all you're going to do is change values, then you can do a patch every week to balance the game, and then do small incremental balance changes until we reach a point of perfect balance where you have a chance to win if you're solo queue, you have a chance to beat a 4-man team if you're a demon, and everything is more based on skill than like RNG and all that. But if we're changing just value-based things like the damage of the demons, or how much a weapon mastery does, or how much balance bar a perk gives you, these are all server-based things that Saber could just do every Tuesday. So it doesn't make sense to me that they'll put out major balance changes where one side is just going to be miserable playing the game for like a 3-month period, and then 3 months down the line, the other side is just going to be just as miserable. It's pretty ridiculous to me. Now, I don't want to sound survivor biased right now because in the last patch, I was very centered in how I believe balance should work. I was telling people that Henry was very overpowered. I still think he is. I think he's got 7 seconds on his ability. It's ridiculous. They need to put it down to 5. Anyway, just I like to think that I'm pretty centered on both sides, and I have no problem with demons being buffed because the balance bar was ridiculous. People were getting stunned left and right. They could barely even play the game because they were always stunned. And just to add insult to injury, the devs added a feature where the demon sees stars above their head. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the balance bar needed a lot of help, and all of the changes they did to that made a lot of sense. What doesn't make sense is that they also nerfed survivor balance bar, and these are the changes that could have been very well needed, but we could have seen how needed they were because maybe they would have been fine staying with the balance bar buffs, and at the very least we would have stepping stones for survivors to learn to catch up with everything. It wouldn't just be such a drastic, oh hey, now you have to learn to get 10 times better than you were before because you've been nerfed and the demon's been buffed, and so's their damage. So you have to learn so much in so little time because we didn't give you little increments to learn more from. And I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. I'm sorry. I didn't really script this video. I just think that it's ridiculous that the balance has caused a lot of survivors to basically have a miserable experience playing the game, and I think we should do more to remediate that. And by we, I mean the dev. I just think that we should do things a little slower and maybe bring out value change patches because, in my honest opinion, most of the balance changes that need to be done are mechanics. Those are where the big updates come in, like where you bring in a DLC and then you say, okay, we're going to change the way possession works because possession as a mechanic is kind of dumb right now. I find it very stupid that a demon can possess a survivor and then cause that survivor to quit the game of life. I'm sorry, I can't say the word on YouTube, but you shouldn't be trying to kill the survivor that you're possessing. You should be possessing a survivor to kill other people. That's just my opinion, and it's a balance thing that I think we should check. I also think that Henry should not have 7 seconds on invincibility. He should have 5, because that gives him enough time for a revive, but it doesn't give him enough time for a resurrect, so he doesn't get free team revives. I think that cars need to work differently, because right now they feel a little bit like a useless mechanic. I feel like they just keep getting possessed, and I end up walking anyway. These are things that need to be changed. These aren't things that, like, just change with values. These are things that change with whole mechanic changes, and I think these are what we should be looking into, because all of these value changes wouldn't really matter if the mechanics were just placed differently. I'd also like to see new mechanics. I'd like to see stuff that actually gives Evil Dead the game some character, like traps where green goo and black ooze flow out the walls. Like, that would be cool. I want to see more Evil Dead based things. I don't want to just base the game on, like, oh, we're making an esport now with, like, no character at all. That doesn't really have anything to do with balance. It's a little gripe I've had with Evil Dead for a while. So, yeah, basically, I think that the balance in the game is not heading in a good direction. I think that the values and everything are fine, and I'm not so pissed off by the fact that demons got, like, a buff. It's like, whatever. Both sides are going to get buffs and nerfs as time goes on. I'm just annoyed that balance is being treated like a pendulum and there's nothing new being added to the gameplay loop. There's nothing to change the book and how demons just treat the book as their primary objective, even though it's supposed to be the secondary objective. There should be more things in place that cause the demon to want to kill survivors. I feel like killing the book should be a tie. I don't think it should be a win condition. These are things that I feel like would do good for game longevity and balance, just adding new things to the gameplay loop instead of changing values and going, yep, this is fine. So, is balance in a good spot? No, I don't really think it ever was. I think that balance is pretty abysmal in the game. It's better than Dead by Daylight was at the start, but it's just not improving in any way. I've been seeing things that say this is a step in the right direction, and I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think value changes will cause a game to be better in the long run. I think they'll just keep people happy in the present. It's just Band-Aid fixes, and I want to see true game balance gameplay loop changes. I don't want to see value changes. That's all I'm saying. That's the quick summary of the video. But yeah, I've talked and rambled for too long. Sorry I didn't have a script for this one. I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, and I hope you saw where I was coming from, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I stream every Saturday through Tuesday. That might change because I just got a new job, but I stream at 9 o'clock p.m. EST, and make sure to join the Discord server because I do community nights and I want to talk to all of you about the new games coming out like Ghostbusters and Evil Dead and everything. So yeah, goodbye everybody!